Okay, there we go. Okay. So again, this is the time management student success workshop. So uh as a quick kind of little icebreaker, mindful moment that we're gonna be doing, I want you guys to create a bucket list. You don't have to do it now. You guys can do it a little bit later. You guys will have this presentation, so you guys will be able to look back on it. But the idea of the bucket list is that I want you guys to list as many things as you want, but I want you to write something down that you want to accomplish or achieve before this semester ends. So it could be as simple as like, bringing your grade up um, in the class, getting your homework assignments done a lot more quicker. So you're not staying up all night, studying a little bit better. It could be stuff like that, or it could be personal things that you want to improve on about yourself. The idea of it is that it's kind of like goal setting, which is something that we're going to be mentioning in our time management presentation. And with that, we'll get started with what is time management exactly. So, time management is a lot of things. One of the things is that it is a very, very useful self management tool. It's something that you're going to use whether you're in school, whether you're working, and you can use it any time um, that may be useful to you. So there's kind of like four steps to kind of determining what time management is, um, and how to use it effectively, especially as dual enrollment students, as high school students. So you're going to be determining your goals and priorities. You're going to have organization and routines. You're going to have self care. And I put it as a little side note, it's very important to have self care. And we're going to put a lot of emphasis on that soon. And there's also this last thing called practice makes progress. I know you guys have probably heard like practice makes perfect. I will explain all of that in this section soon. But we're going to start with determining goals and priorities. So, with goals and priorities, it's kind of like your roadmap. Your goals and priorities should be things that you define as getting from point A to point B. So, like literally, if you pull up your phone and you go to Maps and you're trying to find the closest route or the fastest route to get to Starbucks or something. You're getting from point A to point B. So one of the things that you would want to do in determining your goals and priorities is to ask yourself these questions. Um, the first question is, how important is this to my values or goals? So how valuable or how important is your goal that you're thinking of? How is it important to your own values and your own goals in life? That could be personally, that could be academically. It all depends on how you see it and how you answer it. What is the likely outcome? What's the likely outcome of you completing this goal or completing this priority? Think of it as like doing chores. Like, what's the likely outcome? My mom's not going to get mad at me for not for cleaning my room or whatnot. Um, what would happen if I didn't do it? What would happen if you don't accomplish this goal or priority? What are the side effects, basically, of you not completing this specific goal or outcome, or a priority? I mean, sorry. One thing to note is also how long has this been on my to-do list? So if you have a to-do list already, um, how long has that goal been sitting on there, and how should you categorize it? Should it be higher up? Should it be a little bit lower? Or should you take it off your to-do list completely? That can help you determine like that can determine how much you prioritize that in your your to-do list. Sorry, I can't speak. And the last thing that you should think about is what is one thing that I can do to make it easier for me? So, say for example, you do have a goal and you have a priority and you are dead set on making sure that you accomplish that goal and priority. One of the things you want to do is think about what is it that I can do to make it easier. It could be a difficult task if your goal ends up being something um, unattainable or something that you've been constantly failing at to achieve. So, kind of think about what is something that I can do to kind of make it easier for me to reach it. So yeah, we're going to go back to the agenda and we're going to go to this next section. So we've determined our goals and our priorities. Now we're going to go into organization and routine. And one of the things that you want to ask yourself is how exactly are you planning or how are you keeping track of your goals and your priorities? So, like everyone else in the world, everyone is different. You are all going to have different methods that you can use to find something that best suits you in managing your time and making sure that you are accomplishing your goals and that you are fulfilling your priorities. One of the important things is that staying organized equals better time management. The more or the better organized you are, the better you are going to be at time management. You're going to be able to see things a lot more easily. You're going to be able to get things done a lot more quicker. So having good organization skills also really helps when you are when you want good time management skills. And one of the other things I did want to mention is that, establishing a familiar routine, it can do a lot of things for you. So it could be as simple as like when you get home after school, you have dinner. After dinner, you go shower. After you shower, you go and you do your homework and maybe study a little bit before you go to sleep. All routines are going to be different and it's always going to be best suited to you personally, because this is for you. So kind of giving a little idea of what this looks like. So one of the things that you can do, so these are some things that I have that I've done that kind of help me keep up with my own time management skills. So one of the things you can do is that you can keep a calendar near your workspace. So like a desk. So this is my calendar at my house. I'm in a school counseling program, and it really helps when I'm able to see when certain things pop up and to have important dates and times kind of there just for me to see. So you can see here, I have my assignments, um, I have like webinars that I attend and whatnot. I also use color coded pins. So that kind of goes into this point of going color code mode. Color coding is so much fun, but it's even more fun when you are able to have a system for it. So here on my planner, I have red for Zoom meetings. I have white for what is the current day. Yellow is for, I think if I remember correctly, I put it as for discussion posts that I have to complete for my class. And then you can't see it here, but blue is for my assignments that are due during that week. So having color code really, really can help you visually, and it's just visually appealing for you guys to use. Google Calendar can be your best friend. It could be any type of calendar, honestly, any any kind of calendar app that you have. So you can even not only use Google Calendar, but you can also use the iPhone calendar. If you have an Android's calendar, whatever is going to help you keep up with your tasks and whatever is going to help you keep track of your tasks and making sure you're doing things on time. So that was that for the calendar section. I also use planners. For planners, I like to have a more detailed version of what I'm doing during that day. So I could write something simple here, as in like webinar or a teacher's name for a meeting and whatnot. And then I can go into my planner and basically write in the details of what that means. So I'm here, for example, I do wellness presentations at another site. And with those teachers, I just write that I'm doing a wellness presentation for these teachers at these times for this topic. For important papers, I have a folder that I keep. So it holds important documents. Like for you guys, for example, if you guys as dual enrollment students or just high school students in general, you guys have syllabus. Syllabi are very, very important for you guys to keep and hold on to, because it's literally your checklist of what it is that's going to be upcoming and what you need to have done. Also, I know that you guys, I don't know if the majority of everyone uses Canvas, but any kind of any kind of app that you guys use for your classes, you should turn your notifications on. So you can constantly get reminders if an assignment is due, if discussion post needs to be done. I think it's very important for you guys to have something like that. So we're gonna go to the next one. So this is kind of a little bit more detailed version of everything that there is that I mentioned, specifically with each item. So for you guys, these are some things to note when you use a calendar, when you use a planner, when you use a folder or a divider. When you use a calendar as a dual enrollment student, you should know when your class meets, whether that's online or in person. And then also kind of um, keep track of the times that your class meets. Being on time is very, very important, hence time management. When you have a planner, kind of look ahead. Use a planner to look ahead of your own schedule. So map out your semester or your courses, whether that's at school, what your classes are going to look like, your courses for LBCC if you're taking dual enrollment classes. But then also you want to be able to map out your whole entire week. So that doesn't only include like your classes and your assignments. This should also include your personal stuff. So say for example, you have a soccer match, or you have a cheer competition, or you're part of the band and you have band practice. That's one of the things that you should use a planner for. Folders and dividers. So like I said mentioned before, like with your syllabi, you have important papers that you should keep in your folders or your dividers, and it should include anything that's related to your course. Again, color coding is so fun and so visually appealing that you can have fun color coding your course related materials. So you can color code your folders and dividers for different courses so you can know which is what. So that can also be for differentiating your LBCC courses and then also your high school courses. So I'm going to be like, oh, these are all my homework assignments from my teachers and courses from Millikan, and then these are the ones I'm taking at LBCC. So it's just something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, don't get intimidated by this, but there is a study hours to unit ratio that you guys should be keeping in mind. So the ratio is that every unit that you take as a student, it should be 2 to 3 hours of study. So for example, if you take at least 6 units, that's about 2 classes, you should be studying at least 12 to 18 hours a week. It sounds intimidating. I was intimidated at first too when I first started college, and I found out that there's this thing called study hours to unit ratio. The thing about it that you have to remember is that this is 12 to 18 hours per week, not 12 to 18 hours per day. So, spread it out accordingly. Use your planners, use your calendars to kind of plan out your own study routine. So we're going to go back to the agenda and we're going to talk about self-care. And this one is personally my favorite because I think self-care is very important when it comes to time management. As we see here, every life needs a good distraction, and that is very important when it comes to self-care. Sometimes you really do need to take a step back and not push yourself too much to the point where you're going to experience this. If you guys don't know what burnout is, it's not fun. It's literally when both your physical and your mental state of mind are overwhelmed with everything that you're doing, and you kind of just become lethargic and you become very tired of everything. You don't want to do anything. You become less motivated. Having self-care in your time management is so important because the burnout can it can affect your school, it can affect you academically, and it can also affect you with um, your own personal relationships with everyone else. Um, with that said, there is knowing your limits with self-care. So know when you are done studying. If your limit of studying is 25 minutes, stop at 25 minutes, take a break, take a breather, go outside, touch some grass, go on your phone, watch a 25-minute episode of Friends or whatever it is that you guys watch. Take time to yourself and don't overwork yourself over your limits. You can test your limits and you could try, like, maybe you say, for example, oh, I've done 25 minutes of studying. I could do 5 minutes more. You do it, you realize it's not for you, you go back to your 25 minutes. Don't overexert yourself. That is part of self care. And like I mentioned again, take a break. So self care improves a lot of your focus and concentration. So that aligns with burnout. You're not able to focus anymore if you are not taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally. And we want that all for ourselves. We want that all for our friends. We want that all for our families. Self care in general is very important. So we're going to go into practice makes progress. So, like I mentioned before, I said you guys have probably heard practice makes perfect. Well, I'm going to say practice makes progress. So, like everything and like time, everything changes. Time is always changing. The times are always going to be changing. You never know what is going to continually work for you, and you don't know what isn't going to work for you. You kind of have to adapt. You have to have that a bit of adaptability, which is what time management is. You adapt. So there's this idea of progress versus perfection. Uh, the idea of having a perfected routine and thinking that everything that you're doing at the moment is perfect for you because it's working for you right now at the moment, it's a fixed mindset. You need that adaptability because you need to be able to go forward and think of things on the fly. And that is kind of why you need that progress. You need that growing mindset. You need that growth mindset. You need to be able to explore different ways that can help you achieve your goals and your priorities, to help better organize your own thoughts, and to also, deal with your own self care. Um, so we're going to go over what is called SMART goals. If you guys haven't heard of SMART goals before, it's a really, really fun and amazing strategy that really can help you with making sure that all your goals are met and that you are in like a really, really happy state. So SMART goals is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And we're going to go into it more by using this scenario. So we're going to practice it together. You guys don't have to write it down or anything, but I would like for you guys to like kind of follow along. Um, and we're going to get started with this. So here we're going to practice SMART. So in this scenario, let's say you have an exam in English on a Friday in 2 weeks. That may or may not be true for you guys right now, but just think about it. This is a scenario. So how can you use the SMART goals strategy to manage your time? And we're going to start with S. So S specifically means specific. It's simple, sensible, significant. A specific goal will involve a specific outcome. So when you ask yourself any of these W questions, they can help you set different goals, which is what we mentioned before in determining your goals and your priorities. So with the scenario, you're going to probably ask yourself, what grade am I trying to get? Am I wanting to get a B? Am I wanting to get an A? Do I just want to pass this class and get a C? What am I good at? What do I struggle with? Who should I be studying with for this exam? Should I be studying with friends? Should I be studying with students that want to get good grades? It all depends on you. Which teacher should I go to for help? So which English teacher are you going to help you achieve this goal? So, oh, I guess they were okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna go to M, thinking of the scenario again. So M is measurable, it's meaningful, it's motivating. When you keep track of your goals, you can motivate your progress. So again, like with the organization and routine, when you are able to visually manage your goals and your priorities, it can motivate you to achieve them either quicker, or it can motivate you to do even better. So how are you tracking your progress? How many times are you going to check your progress? And how will you know when it's accomplished? So if you kind of look over here, some little mini goals that you guys can have is completing your English homework. It's an English test. So you want to be able to complete your English homework so you can understand the material. Plan study sessions with your friends. You all are wanting to do better in this class, so you guys decide to work together in creating study sessions for your goal in accomplishing this class. And the last thing that's left here is that you want to get that A in English. So we're going to go back to the scenario again, and we're going to go to A. So again, think about the scenario. You have an exam in English on Friday in 2 weeks. How can you use the SMART goal strategy to manage your time? So A with the scenario is achievable. You want to make sure that your goals are achievable. You want to make sure that they're achievable so you know that they're successful. And so you don't deter yourself from not thinking that anything that you set forth in your mind is not going to be achievable. So what you should think about is, how can I accomplish this goal? So you're studying for your exam. How are your notes? Am I able to study my notes? Am I able to talk to my teacher to kind of give me some guidance or some help? One of the most important things about achievability in A for SMART goals is, how realistic is your goal based on other limitations? So you can have limitations, friends can be a limitation. You could be really good friends and you can have a study session with them, but think realistically on how helpful that is for you if you know that your friends can distract you very easily. Think about your sports practice. Think about how much time you have at home to study when you spend a lot of time in sports. Access to resources. How are you able to how do you have access to a laptop? Do you have access to your textbooks? Do you have access to anything that you can use to study for this test? These are all things that you want to think about when you have a goal that you know you want to achieve. So we're going to go back to, oh, sorry. I'm going to go here and then go here. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to go to the R piece, which is realistic. So realistic means you're being reasonable. You have resources and they are results based. So basically, you've created goals and priorities that are realistically reachable and achievable. And if you answer yes to any of these questions, that means your goal is considered realistic. So can I stay focused on my work for about 20 minutes? If you say yes, then that means it's a realistic goal that you are able to study for at least 20 minutes. Do I see positive results from my studying? Are you more concentrated? Are you more focused? Do you see yourself being less distracted when you're studying? If you say yes, then it's a realistic goal. Were you able to complete everything that you needed to do today? So say, for example, today you're supposed to be studying for your English exam. Were you able to study everything that you needed to study? Were you able to do the homework as well? If you say yes to that, then your goal is realistic. Okay. we are going. Okay, so the last one is T, and that is time bound. So it's literally what we've been talking about this whole time. Time management. It's time based, it's time limited, it's time and cost limited, timely, it's time sensitive. Time is important to know in terms of how long you plan to work out your goal and how you want and when you will want to achieve it. So, for example, for you guys as DE students, when will I set up a counseling appointment? Um, when are you going to set up that counseling appointment to see where you are at in your class and how you're feeling about your college classes? Uh, think about what can you do today, and think about working how much work or studying you can get done in one day in a week. You know, time you need to just kind of pace it out for yourself rather than kind of just conjoining it in one. So if your goal is to work within that semester to get that good grade in English, that should be your time limit for that specific goal. If you have different oh my gosh, where it's going with this. Um basically that, you know, uh time is important. Keeping track of time and how long you realistically want to have your goal, it's all important for managing your time. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for listening. I know I probably ran over time a little bit, maybe like 5 minutes over, but I really appreciate you guys for coming to this workshop. I hope it helped you guys out a little bit. Um, like I said before, this session is recorded. So if you guys want to go back and look at what has been said about specific slides, you guys are more than welcome to. I'm going to be sending it out to you guys, and that along with the presentation itself. Don't think I paused it. Oh, okay, there we go.